Hi, welcome back to Giles' Workshop, and on this episode of the dinner party we are going to be making the personal candlestick. I want everybody at the dinner party to have their own candle next to them, and we're going to use a pure beeswax candle so that we have the cleanest light and also less unburnt carbon hitting my ceiling and turning my ceiling sooty and horrible and nasty. So it's going to be made out of wood. That form of it is going to be made out of wood, like so. And on the other elevation, it's going to be like that, and we're going to have some twisted silver wire inlaid in here. And on this bit here, we're going to make a silver cone that sits in a hole and holds the pure beeswax candle, like so. Here's one I made earlier. It's going to be similar to this, but I'm going to be using slightly different wood so that there's more of a strength to it and more of a design to it. But that effectively is exactly what we're going to be using. So the wood we're going to be using for this is veneer wood, and we've got some lovely smoked sapel wood, we've got some lovely elm wood, and this awesome red, which I just love the colour of this, and that's going to be right in the centre and just create a little bit of a layered look to the wood. So the first thing we're going to be doing is making the wood bit here. So the next shot is going to be me marking up and cutting up the wood. So I've got my trusty craft knife, got my pencil, and I've got my ruler. So here I am, just marking out and cutting out the wood for the base of the personal candlestick, using the metal ruler and my trusty craft knife. Now that all of that's all cut out and I've got the layers in the position that I want them, I'm just going to be gluing up the wood for the base of the candlestick. Just taping it around my former here. It's a 100mm PVC, not perspex pipe, sorry. And then opening it up here to see how it all looks. Now I'm just annealing the silver, which basically is making it more malleable and soft, so it's easier then to form round the mandrel, which will be the next thing that I'm doing. So I'm just forming the silver into a cone, into a tube first, and then I will be making it into a cone. So in order to make it into a solid tube, we need to solder down the seam. So I'm mixing up some borax and cutting up some silver solder pallons. Placing the borax mix first off onto the seam, and now I am melting the silver solder to create a nice tight seam. Nice tight seam? A nice strong seam. And that will then be put into the pickling acid to cool down, and now I am turning it from a tube into a cone. So this is just cleaning up the outside edge of the cone, and now making sure that the wooden base is flat. This didn't actually take that long, it's just a question of getting it flat, really. Now I'm cleaning up the outside edges of the base with some wet and dry paper. I think it was 400 grit, and now using my compass I am marking out where I'm going to be putting the grooves for the twisted silver wire inlay. And now using my piercing saw I am cutting the groove, and now just marking the central point and cutting out the hole which the cone will then sit in. This is then being cleaned up with my needle files and drilling some holes here for the twisted silver wire to start or finish in, and just some grooves so that the twisted silver wire doesn't scratch the surface that it's on. So now I'm just burnishing the twisted silver wire into the grooves. As you can see, it's quite a fiddly little job. It's just polishing it up now after I've done the twisted silver wire inlay. I'm using my big polishing motor and also some plastic polish. This I find really gets the wood nice and shiny, and now just polishing the cone. And that is the personal candlestick done.